succulent growers, I'm Lynn and welcome to Desert Plants of Avalon. And today's video is going to be a very exciting, very special video because it is a joint collaboration video with the awesome Cactus Joe here on YouTube. And Joe contacted me and said, Lynn, how do you fancy doing a joint collaboration video talking about how we got into the hobby of growing cacti? So this is a special joint collaboration video with Joe, and I just want to mention, if you're not familiar, I'm sure many of you are already, but if you're not, then Cactus Joe has the most amazing cactus and succulent YouTube channel. Joe has over 5 decades of knowledge of growing these incredible plants. So if you're not familiar with Joe, you must go over and subscribe to Cactus Joe's awesome YouTube channel, and I'll link Joe's video up above. And also I'm going to be linking Joe's video because, as I say, this is a joint collaboration video. Joe has also done a video at the same time as mine now on how he got also into the hobby of growing cacti and succulents. So I want you to watch Joe's video after you've watched this one, and I'll also link Joe's video up above. And as I say, after you watch mine, go over and watch Joe's. So first of all, thank you, Joe, for the awesome video collaboration. And as I mentioned, Joe has an incredible channel, and I'm sure you'll agree that you're going to very much enjoy his videos. And do go over and subscribe to him and watch his awesome videos. So then, how did I get into the hobby of growing cacti and succulents? Guys, make yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or whatever it is you want to drink, because this is my story. Well then, first of all, I have to go back a long time ago now, to when I first got into growing plants, before I can talk about how I got into growing cacti. Now, as a very young child, I was probably about 6 or 7. My auntie Lil, which is my dad's sister, she loved plants and gardening. And I used to love going round to her house and seeing the amazing selection of plants she had in her little conservatory that was attached to her house. And I used to go, oh, Auntie Lil, I love that, I love that. And she used to give me cuttings, and I'd take them back and I'd put them in water and propagate. Not cactus now, normal house plant cuttings, even garden plants. And I had a little windowsill collection at my mum and dad's house as a child of all these different plants. Anyway, fast forward a few years now, and my older brother Mike, who was around 17 at the time, and I was 12 years old, so I was just a little kiddie. And my brother came back the one day with the most incredible plants I'd ever seen in my life. Didn't really know much about cacti and succulents. There was something that grew in the desert in other countries, you know. And he said, Lynn, look what I bought from B&Q, which is a garden centre and homeware store here in the UK and Ireland. It's known sort of pretty much. Oh, there's a plane. Playing, guys. Anyway, when my brother brought these plants back, I said to him, Mike, what are them? I need some, I want some. And he explained they're cacti and they're succulents. I'm going to show you them plants because he bought 4 plants. This was 41 years ago, and I still have them exact plants in my collection today, 41 years later, and I'm going to show you them, as I mentioned in this video. So I begged him, I said, Mike, I have to have these plants, I have to have them. And he ended up giving them to me, and I put them onto my windowsill in my bedroom, and from then I was well and truly hooked. Spined, maybe I should say. And then every couple of weeks, when I had a bit of pocket money, I'd go and buy more plants from the garden centres, and I started adding more and more onto my windowsills. Then I started taking over all the windowsills in my poor mum and dad's house, so it was covered. My poor mum and dad. And then when I was old enough, I was about 23, I moved out and I got my own place, and I had a little greenhouse, a very tiny little greenhouse, and I packed it with all my plants. And then from there, fast forward a few more years, I moved over to Ireland. Now, I moved over to Ireland in 2006, and I I first lived in Sligo on the west coast of Ireland for about 6 years, and I had the majority of all the cacti in the windows there. And I had a little garden where I had a little plastic greenhouse where I took some of them out for the summer months, and then had to bring them all in for the winter, of course. And then I moved over then to Waterford, which is in the sunny southeast of Ireland, and I was very, very lucky to rent a house that already had a gorgeous greenhouse in, and I had many of my plants in the greenhouse. As you can see here in this photograph, this is my old greenhouse that I used to have. It was lovely, and glass, and a lot of light onto the plants. I had many of them come into beautiful flower as well. And I was also very lucky with that house because it also had a really lovely conservatory as well that also got plenty of sunshine, and I was able to put a lot of the tall plants as well in the conservatory. Also meant when I had to overwinter the plants, I was lucky that they all could go into the conservatory. Also had very large windows as well, which was also a wonderful blessing because plenty of light and plenty of room for all of the plants. As a result, the collection kept on growing and growing and growing. And then I moved up to the north of Ireland, which is where I am now. And I got a little plastic, a big plastic green covered polytunnel that was only meant to do for just to get me over the winter till I could get a proper greenhouse or polytunnel. But I actually had that for about 6 years in all. It actually did the job. And I've since last year, the end of October, so it's been a year now, I've got this clear covered polytunnel, which has been absolutely great for letting plenty of light onto the plants. And although there's been a few problems with it, I've had some gashes in the cover and things like that, so it's not been perfect. Also, keeping the bubble wrap has been a dilemma, but it has certainly been doing the job, and sort of keeping my plants housed here until they move on to the next journey, whenever that will be. So a little bit of the history about obviously the greenhouses I've had and move. And by the way, when I had to move from England over to Ireland, I had to bring all of my collection over on the ferry, and it was quite fun and games, guys, because when I had them all boxed up, obviously getting over across on the ferry in the car, the security stopped us on the way and said, do you mind just having a look what's in them boxes, please? They just stopped people randomly. And I said, of course you can. I said, it's cacti. And they went, oh. And the van was absolutely packed full of these boxes. So they opened the first 2 boxes, went to put their hand into the box, and when they saw how spiny the plants were, they went, it's okay. Carry on driving, guys. They weren't going to go there. We could have had anything in that box underneath all the cacti. Anyway, a little bit of a funny story there. The collection has grown, and so has my passion. So what got me into growing cacti and succulents, I've got to thank for my big brother. He still loves cacti and succulents this day, but obviously he doesn't have anywhere near the collection I have. And yeah, I got addicted. He didn't. So I'm going to show you the very, very first cacti and succulents I ever got, then 4 that I told you about, and I'm going to show you. Now, first of all is this one here, and this one is a Chamaesyra sylvestre, commonly known as the peanut cactus, and it doesn't look so good. As I say, this is 41. It's older than 41 years old because I've had it 41 years. And up until a few years ago, this was completely packed with all these lovely peanuts and has beautiful orange flowers in the spring and summertime. It's died back over the years. Some of the stems have just died back. It's also had cases of mealybugs, spider mite, where I've had to cut it back. And these are all the propagations from that original plant. I've actually had this out in the yard for the summer where it got plenty of rain. It's really fattened up, and it did have beautiful orange flowers during the summer. But although it's not the most attractive plant that you might see, certainly not the most attractive cactus I've got, the fact its sentimental value that this is one of the very first ones I ever had as a 12-year-old from my brother, that this is a special, special cactus. So I keep this for that reason. 41 years old. Now the next one I'm going to show you is really one of my prized cacti. this one here, this is a Palasia Chichi PE, and I think it's a different type because it's not the commonly seen Palasia Chichi PE. It's about 4.5 feet high, and this is one of the very first ones I got from my brother as well. Again, had it for 41 years, and when I actually got this, took it from my brother, it was literally probably not much bigger than this. It was in a 5 centimetre pot, really tiny, and I had it on my windowsill as a kid, as I mentioned, and it has grown and grown and grown. You can see there at the bottom, to 4.5 feet. It's a special cactus for that reason, because it has so much history attached to it. And I take this out into the polytunnel for the spring and summer, and now into the early fall. But this is one I do have to bring back into the house, probably in the next week or two, when the nights drop too cold, because it's not a cold hardy cactus. It can take a bit of cold short term, but it's one that does need winter warmth. Palasia Chichi PE is not a cold hardy cactus, so I have to bring this into my grow room to overwinter. And you can see this here is actually where it went a bit scabby last year, and this is all the new growth just from this summer, and so far anyway into the fall. And it's sort of a bit of a late summer grower for me. It comes up a bit of a new growth at the top there, but it's a very special cactus because it has so much history attached to it. Very wonderful. So I'm very happy with that one. Big, it may not be the most tallest cactus I've got, but the age of it, 41 years I've had it again. And I'm going to take you over here to another few cacti that originally came from the one plant that I got from my brother when I was 12. And this is a Pontiarafida variety Minima. And when I first got this from my brother, this was just one small clump, probably about the size of this here. That's all it was. And over the years it has sort of spread out. It's more like a shrub. It's one of the mini type of a Pontias, always coming down with mealybugs and mites and things like that. So it's one I always have to keeping a check on. And it's not an easy one either to propagate. It tends to die back at the tips. I'm always having to try and repropagate it. So although it looks like I've got a lot here, it is personally for a Pontia, I find one that does struggle a little bit for me. And again, it's not the most beautifulest cactus that you're going to see, but for me it's sentimental because this is again from the original plant. In fact, probably the very, very, very original one that I got from when I was 12 years old would actually be, this is the actual one there. The stock at the bottom there is from where it's come from, and this is that original plant. These are all the propagations from it. So incredibly, incredibly special. And as I say, got me into the hobby of growing cacti because the shapes of them are so different and so unique that I was fascinated with these plants. It was something I hadn't really seen before. They weren't leafy, they weren't soft, they were just wow. I literally got hooked. So again, 41 years I've had this wacky Pontiarafida variety Minima, and sort of not beautiful but very special and sentimental to me. Now the fourth one that I've had for 41 years that I got from my big brother also is a succulent, and this one is Waria Tenu. And I recently made a video about this when I revamped it because some of these multiple rosettes sort of die back and I have to keep propagating it. And this is all a repropagation from the original one I had, but it's still the same genetics from that original plant I had all them years ago. And it was just one rosette when I got it, little small rosette like this. And over the years it has formed into this awesome bowl of gorgeousness. And again, I was fascinated when I seen this when my brother brought it home, because I thought, wow, look at this gorgeous sort of spiky looking plant, absolutely beautiful. So again, 41 years I've had this one, and very special in my collection. So then that is the oldest plants I've got in my collection, and the ones I got from my brother, obviously, that got me into the mad, crazy passion of growing these awesome cacti and succulents. And again, over the years, what started off with a windowsill collection as a child, unfortunately, I don't have any photographs from that time. I wish I did. I remember as a kid taking lots of pictures of my windowsills with all the cacti and succulents in, but I don't have them today. But all I can do, I have my memories, and I just remember the windowsills being absolutely packed. And as I say, over the years, the collection has grown and grown and grown and grown. So, as a little 12-year-old, that got me into the hobby of growing cacti and suckers. I was obsessed. And to this day, I'm more obsessed than ever. So I hope you enjoyed the little history about what got me into the hobby of growing cacti and succulents. And again, thank you so much, Cactus Joe, for the video collaboration. And as I mentioned, do go over and watch Awesome Cactus Joe's incredible video that he has made also on how he got into the hobby of growing cacti and succulents. As I mentioned, Joe is incredible, knowledgeable as well, and he's been growing cacti for over 50 years. I've been growing them for over 40 years, and that's 4 decades. But 50 years, wow. And Joe is, like, as I mentioned, is a walking cactus and succulent encyclopedia. He's so knowledgeable. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't done already, do please subscribe and click that notification bell, and do check my website out for lots of growing tips on how to care for different types of cacti and succulents, as well as regular blogs. desertplantsofAvalon.com. And if you want to see more of my collection, check out all the many videos I have on my YouTube channel. As I say, Desert Plants of Avalon. I want to wish you all a fantastic cactus powered day. Whoa! Cactus and succulent obsessed. I'm mad.